Hey guys, it's time for me to close out this pool. I thought I might share what I learned last year, what I'm going to try to do this year, and I plan on doing a follow-up at the beginning of the spring when I open it back up, just to see how it turned out. A couple lessons I learned from closing it out last year was the ice compensation float. I think that's really what they call it. I put one of those in here last year, and it really caused me more problems than it did good. So I'm not going to do that this year. As well as I'm going to wrap it with the it's like a pallet wrap's the best way I can describe it. Just a plastic wrap to help keep the tarp down and keep the wind from getting under it. I did have that issue at the end of the last year. It worked great all the way up until we had a nice good storm, and it got up under it and blew it off. So we're gonna do that. So I'll take you through the steps of what I did to get it closed out. One of the first things you got to do is get the pool clean. So I'm gonna run through and get it cleaned up real quick. You got to make sure that your balance is right, and you know the pool's in a good condition to close out, which mine is. And it's plenty cold enough. The water's probably in the 60s at this point. It's toward the end of October. It wasn't until a couple of weeks ago that the weather shifted on us, or I could actually get out here and do this. Anyway, we're going to go through some steps here and take you guys along for the ride. For those of you that saw my setup video of how I did this pool last year, worked out really good. I'm real happy with the results. I'm gonna go ahead and close off both of those guys, close off the output as well. Then we're gonna open up this guy and go ahead and clean the leaves out of the trap. This is what I vacuumed up earlier. I really like this feature of this pump. I mean, it does a good job catching all that debris. Okay, so we'll turn all my valves back on. We'll go ahead and do a backwash. Do us a rinse. Okay guys, other than draining it and disassembling the pump and getting all that dried out and put away for the winter, it's pretty much ready to go. It's ready to winterize. I'll show you the steps on that now. This is the kit that I purchased by In the Swim winterizing kit. You can Google that or look on Amazon, you'll find it. This is your shock. So you put your shock in, then you want to pour in the stain away and the winterizer. And once all that's done, and then on my pool, mine's like a 5,000 to 10,000 gallon pool, so I'm going to go ahead and punch out 5. And this has a couple of I guess they're chlorine tablets in it for the long-term distribution throughout the winter. So you poke a hole here. You don't, and you just do it based on how many gallons your pool's got, and then you've got your vent here. You poke this one out, and I'm gonna poke that one out. You set it in there, let it kind of soak up so it sits somewhat level. I did find when I put the one in last year that it wanted to sit sideways. I didn't worry too much about it. When I opened it back up at the end of the winter time, it had all dissolved, so it's still distributed just fine. First thing I need to do is put in the Chlorine-Free Shock. It says to evenly distribute that in the pool, let it run for about 30 minutes, And then you can go in and put in the winter stain away in the winterizer. And then you got to wait another hour. So we're going to go ahead and get the chlorine shock in now. Wait 1 hour. All right, now we're going to throw in the winterizer stain away. Little guy right there. I tried some earlier. It doesn't taste good. And then the winter stain away. It doesn't taste good either. So don't try it. Just take my word for it. So now it says to let that run for about an hour, and then it'll be time to drain the pool down and put the floater in there, and also put the top on. So we'll do that in a little while. So I'm going to break out my high-tech hole puncher because I like to go overkill. I want to make sure I got good holes in this guy, because I can. And there you go. Oh, and if you're curious what's inside, just for the sake of looking at it, okay, it's got a little twist, a little squeeze. A couple of big old, I don't know if you can, yeah, you go. There you go. A couple of big, I'm assuming those are chlorine tablets. That's what they look like to me. Keep that closed. There you go. So this is my winter cover seal that I'm going to give it a try this year to see how it helps with keeping the pool, keeping this tarp on. Like I say, last year it was all well and good until a good storm got up under it and and off it went. So the other thing I'm going to do with this tarp is I like to put a certain amount of water on top of the tarp once I get it on, and that water helps to keep the tarp down and keep it from blowing around. The problem I had last year with that, the big float that you put in the middle and tie off with a couple of ropes, was that the water wanted to settle on one side or the other, and so I would always end up with one side that the wind would keep getting up under, and the water would settle off to one or the other side because of the rope that's strung across the middle. It created a dam effect. So that didn't work out quite like I had hoped. So what we're going to do is not use it. So hopefully the water will stay level and it won't collect on one side or the other, and the tarp will stay down. And also, to help assist with that, as I'm going to go ahead and put this guy on, which will also help keep the wind from getting up under it as easily, because I'm going to wrap it farther down. We'll start at the top and work our way around and go down maybe one level or so. So we're going to give that a shot. Okay, I've let it circulate for about an hour now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put it on the wastegate, so I can go ahead and just pull the water out of the pool and drop the level down. Okay guys, I think I got it drained out as much as I want to drain it. At this point I'm going to go ahead and disconnect my my intake lines. Alright, then I'm going to go ahead and open up the drain on the sand filter. It'll take a little while for that water to drain out of there. Get as much water out of it as I can, because I'm planning on taking it in the shop, you know, letting it, blowing everything out, making sure I don't have any water sitting anywhere in case something decides to go freeze on me. I'll worry about breaking the rest of it down later. My goal today is just to get the pool covered up. Okay, and just a review, I've got the 5,000 gallon hole punched out and the vent punched out. let some water in. There we go. Okay, now we're going to get to putting on the cover. Got a couple of helping hands. These little guys. Then you take your cable, you thread it around the pool. Found it's best just to go ahead and lay the cable out straight line so it just pulls in easier. Go around and make sure your tarp's under your cable to an extent. Go around and do that. I bought like the, I can't quite remember, but it was a higher end or higher quality tarp than, I didn't buy the cheap one. This is like a 15 or 20 year tarp it's supposed to be. Seriously doubt it'll last that long, but I would have wanted it to last a few years. Now it says the way that you're supposed to do it is you get it about a foot down, floating on the pool surface, and then you backfill it with water to help keep it down so the wind doesn't pick it up and blow it away. If you have a float compensation device in the middle, what you end up with is a dam from one side to the other, and the water wants to settle on one side or the other. And that's the problem I had last year, and I had to continuously try to balance the water back out to keep the wind from getting under, lifting up one side, because the water wasn't on that side, it was all on the other side. So without that in the middle of it, I hope that it should work out better this time. Time will tell, we will see, but right now I'm gonna go ahead and get the water hose and get some water on top of this guy, and we'll go ahead and start wrapping it. My plan was to use it all, but I'm getting tired. So that's just a little bit left. I'm not going to worry about making another round. So when I get to the end of this, I'm going to take it and just tie it to the post so that I don't have to worry about it unadhering to the plastic, you know, just in case. I figured I'll finish it out. Okay guys, that is the wrapped pool. If anybody says that there's not enough of this wrap to do a pool, they're full of it. I have made several rounds. I didn't count them. You can count them for me if you'd like. If the wind gets under that, we've had a really bad storm. So I do believe that should hold well. I don't see the wind getting under the other way. If it does, then that'll be a lesson I learn, and I won't do that again. I mean, maybe possibly a little bit, but not much. So we shall see. Hopefully we'll have a fair winter. I think we're supposed to have a cold one, but we'll see. So other than getting water distributed on top of the thing here, it's pretty much, it's done. You know, I will say throughout the winter, what I'll do is occasionally when there's too much water on top of the tarp, I'll take my my vac hose and put one end in here and tie it to like a brick or something, or just clamp it to something heavy, and then do a little, fill the whole hose, drop it over the side, and that'll create a suction which will then pull anything off the top of the tarp to help keep it from collecting too much from the, you know, rain and snow and whatever. But that, other than that, that's really all you got to do. I don't have to worry about running the pump, keeping the chemicals going, saves on electricity, all that good stuff, you know. But that's what you got. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching the video. I hope this information helps you close out your pool, and we will catch you guys on the next video.